It's recording.
All right, thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Carey Conley, and I am so unbelievably excited to share this webinar with you today. This is a dream come true for me, and I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to say this many times throughout this webinar, vision works. I am thrilled to be walking you through a webinar that I'm hoping will lift you up, give you a lot of hope, and give you some direction for the new year. And in a few moments, I'm going to be introducing you to one of the biggest hope dealers in my life and in thousands of, probably millions of other people, Rita Davenport. So I just want to again remind you as we go through this to make sure that you are unmuted if you come on the line. And we do have a little chat box if you have some questions that you want to filter through. My assistant Mary is going to be driving this bus because technology is not my gifting. All right, so thank you. I want to introduce myself to you. For those of you who don't know me very well, my name is Carey Conley, and I'm a speaker, a brand new author, and an entrepreneurial coach. I am from Denver, Colorado, but I now reside most of the time in Scottsdale, Arizona. I moved here and bought a house in January, and I go back and forth between Arizona and Denver every single month because I have coaching groups in both states and now in others as well. And my journey is that I've been an entrepreneur for 22 years. 22 years ago, I jumped into a company called Arbonne. And most of you know the company. It is an international company that produces a line of health and wellness and skincare, anti-aging skincare. I came into the company at that point because I was working in a corporate world, and I had 2 little babies. And I was desperate to get home and raise those children, and I had always truly wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I got introduced to Arbonne, joined the company, jumped in with both feet, went all the way to the top to become a national vice president with the company, earned many, many trips and a couple of Mercedes-Benz, and along the way, the biggest blessing of me being in Arbonne is that I had a lot of mentors and people who were pouring into me, literally to keep me going, to tell me who I was and to remind me of my greatness, and even on the really tough days kept me going. And I share that with you because 3 years ago I made a decision to want to do the same for other people as we're doing now. I have such a passion, you guys, for helping people stay true to their own vision and their goals that I wanted to inspire and coach people. And so 3 years ago, I birthed a company called Infinite Nation. Infinite Nation now is a community that I offer to entrepreneurs who are wanting to build past the 6- and 7-figure income. And there's a lot of moving parts to Infinite Nation that I will mention at the end. But I just wanted you to know a little bit about my journey and why I do what I do and what this is all about. What it's about is to give you hope, because I've been blessed by so many people that have done that for me. So I want to share with you guys a presentation that I put together last July. And Mary, you can probably filter down to that first page of what we're going to talk about today. I want to help you guys stay focused. If I was standing in front of you guys and I saw all your faces in the room, which a lot of times I do speak in front of groups of people, and at about this time of year I start asking the group, how are you feeling about the goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year? Have you reached them? And very, very sadly, you guys, very few people at this point raise their hands saying, I have achieved all my goals I set. And if there's one thing I know for sure is that I think there's nothing sadder than wanting to live with regret. I know right now a lot of people are either feeling super excited that they hit all their goals, or they're starting to feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've gone through another year and here I am. So if there's anything I hope to do personally with you guys today is to give you some direction of what you need to do to move into 2016 to make sure that you hit all those big, hairy, audacious goals that you set for yourself. All right? So I'm going to walk you through a little acronym of FOCUS, and we're going to talk through each little letter really quickly, and then again I'm going to introduce you to Rita, and she's going to add in some really awesome stuff too. So Mary, would you move to the first slide, please, of the letter F? So here's the first thing you guys need to do right now before you even think about setting your goals for 2016. The first thing is that you have to forget the past. What has happened is, and it's It's behind you. There's nothing you can do at this point, you guys. And unfortunately, what most people do is they try to drag in all the things that did not work into the future. And it's like carrying around a great big weight. It doesn't make any difference what happened, you guys. What happens now is this moment and what you choose to do from here forward. So you need to forget the past. And you also need to flush out anything that is a wishy-washy intention. If you get to know me and know me well, I'm going to be pretty bold with you guys. And a couple things I'm going to tell you is that most of the entrepreneurs that I see when I'm out networking and speaking is that their intentions are pretty wishy-washy. When I ask them, do they have a clear vision of where they want their business to be a year from now, I kind of get a lot of, well, you know, I kind of have an idea of where I want to be, and it's all kind of rolling around in my head, and they're using words like I'm hoping, I'm trying, we'll see, kind of thing. You guys, super wishy-washy intention. And I'm going to honestly tell you that if your intention is not really clear, why would other people want to follow you? If you're in a business where you need to affect change and have people buy into you and become your clients, they will not want to do that if your intention is wishy-washy. So get rid of anything that looks like that. Second thing around focus I want you to know is that you need to replace, you need to stop telling people all your stories, your sad sob stories of, well, this didn't happen because of that, or, you know, I was really thinking that I was going to get more support, or, you know, on and on it goes. Stop telling stories, you guys. They don't matter and nobody wants to hear them, quite frankly. All you're doing is building a case for why you didn't get it done. So face the facts, own up to what you need to own up to, and let it go. And I'm going to take a little pause right now and remind you guys to click on the little microphone button so that you mute yourself out so we don't have any background noise. Thank you. All right, so stop telling your stories. The last thing around focus I want you to know right now is you need to decide right now, either you're really going to do this thing or you're not. A lot of times when I talk to entrepreneurs, especially in the home-based business world, I find out that they are really treating their business more like a hobby than they're treating it like a tried and true business. So take a moment through the holidays, you guys, and really ask yourself, look at the patterns of what you have done this past year, and ask yourself, have I really treated this like a business? Have I worked it consistently? And this is a key word that I want you to put up in your office, on your computer, in your car, on your refrigerator, in big, bold type letters. Consistency is everything. If you aren't working your business a little bit every single day, I'm going to boldly tell you again, you're working it with some wishy-washy intention, and you're probably treating it like a hobby, which is also probably why you aren't getting the clients that you are wanting to get faster. All right? So stay focused, get really clear on your intention, take the time right now to really decide, do I really want this thing, or do I need to find a different path? All right, so moving on to the O. Here's the next thing I want you to do, and this comes off of what I just said a moment ago about being consistent. You need to operate your business daily like successful people do. There's a big difference, like I said a moment ago, between treating your business like a hobby or treating it as a business. So here's the dividing line that you can ask yourself. Number one, do you have a written, well thought out, and here's another word I want you to bold, put up somewhere where you can see it every single day, a quantitative activity plan to increase your business every 90 days. It really intrigues me that when I work with entrepreneurs and they come into Infinite Nation in my coaching program, the very first question I ask people is, what is the net income number that you intend to put in the bank at the end of this year? And do you know that most people cannot give me that number? They look at me and say, well, I'm kind of hoping, there's one of those wishy-washy words again, that, you know, I hit 100,000 or I hit 50,000 or whatever the number is. You guys, you can't operate a business that way. You need to have a very quantitative, on paper number that you are going to hit so that every month and every week the activity that you are doing to drive your business is moving towards that target. I'm a big target girl. One of the reasons I'm going to tell you honestly real quickly why I reached National VP and grew Infinite Nation to beyond a six-figure income is because I am really good at targets. When Arbonne would give us trip incentives, which they did every year, it was always very quantitative. There was a number you had to hit. And I loved that because it gave me a target that I could go after and then break it down into monthly, weekly, daily activity. If you don't have a target, you're kind of just shooting at nothing. All right, so have a written quantitative activity plan. And here's the scary part: share your goals with someone else. And I want you to choose very carefully who you share those goals with. Share them with people who are achieving the success that you want to have, not the people who are still sharing their stories and using the wishy-washy words. You've got to be working with people that can see the number, who are also working after their own number, and you lock arms with successful people that are going to hold you accountable. You know, as I said a minute ago, I'm going to introduce you to the biggest mentor in my life, Rita Davenport. And one of the things that Rita does so well, and did so well for me and thousands of people when she was president of Arbonne, is every time I would see her, she would look me in the face and say, "What month are you getting your Mercedes-Benz?" Not, "Are you getting it? Tell me kind of when you think it is." It was always, "What month am I coming to give you the keys to your car?" So be bold and share your goals, you guys. I know that's very scary for people, but if you're hiding it, you're probably not really intentional about it. All right, letter C. Create yourself a community of people who are going after the same things you are. As I mentioned a minute ago, you can't hang with people, you guys, that are going backwards. They will drag you down. So I'm going to tell you in a little exercise that I give people to do when I speak in front of the group, and I'm going to tell you at the end of this call a little bit about a huge event that we have coming up in January that I will do some serious work on this for people, because it is the one thing I do at this event and when I speak in front of groups, when I have enough time, that people consistently come back to me and say, "You have no idea how much this changed my life." I want you to imagine that you're standing on a theater, a stage, and you're looking out into the seats. And there's only about 10 chairs in the very front row of that theater. Again, I'm going to be pretty bold with you guys, and I'm going to ask you, who are the people in the front row of your life that you are giving the most access to you? Those seats need to be filled with people that are the 9s and 10s in your life. And 9s and 10s are people who, when you see them, they are constantly lifting you up. They are constantly reminding you who you are and where you're going, and that you will get there. If you have people in the front row that are anything less than a 9 or 10, you guys, I'm going to tell you that they are holding you captive. Because here's the thing, there's only so many seats, and probably most of you need to reevaluate during this time of year, who's been in that front row this past year that maybe has been holding you captive where you're at. And if they are 1s and 2s and 3s, you guys, and these are lovingly the people that I'm going to say, I have a mantra in life, and those people who know me well. My number one mantra that I tell everybody in Infinite Nation, my coaching group, is no poopy heads. I know that's not a really lovely word out of the dictionary. I don't even know it's in the dictionary, but poopy heads are those people that when you see them and you leave them, you guys, they have just dragged you down to the basement. So I really want to encourage you that you might need to take a look at who's in your world and who are you giving enough access to you that they are either lifting you up or they're dragging you down. You need to fill the front row with people who are movers and shakers. They're positive. They're always growing. They talk about making things better in the world. They're not complaining about why this isn't happening or that isn't happening. They're people who make healthy choices with their bodies and their minds and their words and their actions. And they take risks. One of the biggest reasons I grew Infinite Nation into a community is that most entrepreneurs try to work very isolated. And it's the worst thing you can do if you are an entrepreneur, especially if you are a brand new entrepreneur that has not broken the 6-figure income yet. You need to be around a lot of people who are locking arms with each other and going after the same big visions, because you're pushing through a lot of fear. And I know one of the things that Rita's going to talk about is breaking through fear and having courage. So get around some people, you guys, that are feeling the fear and they're doing it anyway, because those are the people that are going to talk you down from the ledge when you really need them. Okay, so letter U, utilize your resources wisely, you guys. One of the things that you have to be willing to do is you need to be willing to invest in yourself. And I have to tell you honestly that this is probably the saddest thing for me that I see in brand new entrepreneurs that are starting a business, is that they are not willing to invest in themselves first. And investing in themselves means having mentorship, and having a coach. I have always had coaches. I always will have coaches, no matter how far above and beyond I go with my wildest dreams, because you always need somebody who's gone a little bit further than you to keep you going. Investing in yourself means taking time to invest in books, reading every single day for at least 20 or 30 minutes, going to conferences like my Vision is Victory in January. All right, you need to be the person that is constantly investing, because, again, a lot of people, what they say to me is, you know what, I'll get a coach when I have the money. And unfortunately, that is backwards thinking. You're putting the cart before the horse, because in order to have money in the bank, you need to have somebody helping you get there, right? Totally makes sense. And I get it. It's hard as a new entrepreneur. You don't have the money in the bank. It's challenging to figure out where that's going to come from to invest in yourself. But I promise you, if you do it, it comes back to you tenfold. So this is where you have to leap out in faith sometimes before you can actually see it. I do a lot of choosing faith over fear, which is the last thing I'm going to say when we end this call today. So, but doesn't it make sense, you guys, that if you're asking other people to invest in you, that you need to pay yourself first and invest in yourself first? It's kind of an energy matches energy thing. All right. Then the last letter that I'm going to focus on is the letter S. And this is where you need to start with, my favorite thing is you need to have a crystal clear written vision on paper. So my whole life right now is built around vision. I coach people to become six-figure entrepreneurs, you guys, but the very first thing that is mandatory for the people who work with me is getting through a vision workshop, because vision is the victory. How many of you guys, and if I was standing in front of the room, I would see a lot of hands go up right here. How many of you struggle with any of this? You have a serious lack of focus issue going on. We call it squirrel syndrome, where you've got too many things going on and you find that you can't stay focused on one thing at a time. Second thing is that you have a really hard time making decisions with your time and money and who to spend it with. You have a really hard time staying consistent. Remember that big bold word I told you to put all over your house. Consistency is everything, you guys. You can build multi-million-dollar businesses doing a little bit every day. But most people really, really struggle with the consistent thing. How many of you really struggle with time management? Rita is an expert at time management, and I'm sure she'll touch on that a little bit too. And the last thing is, how many of you struggle with keeping yourself motivated every single day? Vision fixes all of that. The reason I was able to push all the way to the top as a national vice president at Arbonne, and the reason I was able to grow Infinite Nations so quickly, you guys, is that the very first thing I did before I started both businesses is that I had a written, clear vision on paper. And I mean to the extent that I would write things about my personal life that consisted of where I lived, what does the house look like, who lives in the house with me, where are we traveling, who's traveling with me, what kind of a mom did I want to be early on in my career. I wrote a lot about what kind of characteristics I wanted to build into my kids. I wrote several things about what I wanted to do to impact others in the world. It's so clear for me every single day, you guys, that no matter how bad the day gets and how bad some days were that I wanted to quit, my vision was so big that it pulled me through everything. And one of the statements that I tell people a lot is that vision will get you, it's your anchor in all the storms. It will literally get you through all of the stuff that I just mentioned. So before you do anything else, your vision is everything, you guys. I have a new book that just came out called Vision is Victory. It's a workbook that you can find on Amazon. And in that book, I go through the exercises that I just touched on a little bit. But I'm also going to tell you again about this big event that I have coming up in January, where I'm going to walk you through getting your vision on paper so that you literally start the year out with a very crystal clear vision, because it is absolutely everything. All right, so with that, I want to kind of introduce you guys to probably the biggest mentor in my life for the past 20 years, This woman, when I decided to jump into Arbonne 22 years ago, I was very blessed that she came to speak in Denver, Colorado, in front of a room of about 50 people with the founder of the company, Peter Morick, and cast the vision of the company. And I got it. Just hook, line, and sinker. I was all in because their vision was so clear. I could see myself in it as well. And so I now want to introduce you to Rita. And so, Mary, if you could move to the little slide that shows Rita. Lovely. Thank you. So Rita Davenport was born in Nashville, Tennessee. She now resides here in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is a huge blessing for me. She has authored several best-selling books. One of her first books was Making Time, Making Money. Her most recent book that came out a couple of years ago is called Funny Side Up. You guys, if you need a really great book to read through the holidays, get this book. It is awesome. She had a TV show here in Phoenix, Arizona for over 15 years. I tell people she was literally Oprah before there was Oprah. She was president of Arbonne for over 20 years and now continues to speak internationally in front of many, many groups of people. She is known through Success Magazine as the Hope Dealer. And I'm going to tell you guys, she is truly one of the most inspirational, lovely, loving, she has loved on me for many years, funniest people I know. And so, Rita, I could not be more honored to share you with these people today. So thank you for taking time to be here.
Oh, Carey, it's an honor to be here, and thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to participate and share information and ideas that will make a difference in people's lives. Carey, can you hear me okay?
I can. I'm getting a little bit of an echo.
Me too. Yeah, I'm getting that too. Okay, I don't know what else is. Should I call him on a different line or something? Maybe it's better now.
Oh.
Nope, it's not.
Okay, hang on 2 seconds, Mary. Mary, can you figure out what we have going on?
I'm on the ground line.
Try it.
Testing.
Yeah, go ahead, Rita.
Okay. Well, anyway, I hope you can hear me. And
yes.
Thank you very much for having me here. And I got tickled when I heard you were talking about my book, Making Time, Making Money, because money and time to enjoy the money and then having an opportunity to build a life that provides choices is always so exciting too. But I did write a book called Making Time, Making Money, because I felt like too many people had more time at the end of their money. My friend Tom Hopkins, a wonderful speaker that lives right here in Scottsdale, taught me that. And then I came up with an idea and a quote that Les Brown, who is just the dearest friend, he not only had been a guest on my TV show when I was a broadcaster in Phoenix, but I hired him for my company to speak a couple times. But he uses a quote that was in the Wall Street Journal full page for this one idea. Can you imagine one idea could captivate a full page in the Wall Street Journal and USA Today? And the quote is, "Money is not everything, but it's right up there with oxygen." And it's like money's not important unless you don't have any. But I do talk about abundance because my guide has been that I came to this world to live life abundantly. And the real abundance of life is when you share that with somebody else. The more you share, the more you get. So being able to be at your conference in January and share ideas that could completely transform, not only could, will, when a person makes that choice. You had mentioned courage. Those of you that step out and come to this meeting, you have courage or you would not be there. And you understand that it's important for you to surround yourself with other people that have a like consciousness. We're not always raised, Carey, in a family of people that are on purpose, that are determined, that are persistent, that are committed. People ask me about commitment, and I say I can easily describe commitment. And that's when you follow through after the moment of inspiration has left you. And you find yourself very committed. I'm going to do this, and so many things that you said resonate with me, Carey. I'm going to do this no matter what. But then you look at, well, do I really want to being Scottsdale, a beautiful place that I can't imagine a more wonderful place to be in January, do I really want to be there? Do I deserve to be there? Well, something that Ben Franklin said many years ago, he said to empty the coins from your purse into your mind. And then he said your mind will fill your purse overflowing. And folks, what he simply said is have a no matter what attitude and invest in yourself. People with high self-esteem have no problem investing in themselves. They know that if they don't, they won't have much to look forward to because you've got to keep fueling and feeding the source that's going to take care of you. So they invest in themselves. And I always like to remind you that it costs you nothing, absolutely nothing to dream. But it's going to cost you everything if you don't. And if you don't have goals and if you don't have dreams, and I loved being called the hope dealer. If you don't have hope, I was raised in poverty, and I was raised being told when I would talk about someday I'm going to have a really pretty house and I'm going to travel and I'm going to have a nice car, I was told, don't get your hopes up. Now, don't get your hopes up. Nobody in this family has ever graduated from high school. Nobody in this family has ever had much. And we didn't have inside plumbing. I was ashamed of the clothes that I wore, but I still was so motivated. My poverty at the time was a gift. You say, how could poverty be a gift? Well, it incited me to, okay, I'm going to have more than this. I'm going to live better. I'm going to be able to share more. I'm going to earn more. And I did have, even then, a caring spirit. I care so much for all of you on this call right now that I want you to be committed to your future. I want you to get the tools. I want you to learn from Carey about vision. And I want you to come to this session in January and walk away with scientific proof of how to set goals. I want you to evaluate why you're here, what goal is truly right for you. And I want you to understand the importance of faith. Faith is the opposite of fear. And when you have faith and when you have a goal, you're going to leave your comfort zone. So be ready for that. You're not going to accept anymore a mediocre life. You're going to say, I want more and I deserve more. And, you know, in your business, no matter what it is, I don't care what you're selling yourself first. People say, how do you become successful? Well, my mentor and friend in the speaking world was Jim Rohn, and he talks about how success comes to you. Success comes to you. You don't go after success. It comes to you when you modify and change your lifestyle, when you change your habits, when you, I teach and tease people because I use a lot of humor in my presentation, because when you teach something and people are laughing and happy when they're learning, the retention rate is about 85% greater. But I teach people to learn from the example of what didn't work necessarily, and then learn from others and their behavior. But you become successful, and you are not just selling your product, whatever widget it might be. You're selling yourself first. People always say, well, how did you get number one in sales and number one in sponsoring, and how did you build a business to almost $1 billion? Well, it was the transformation of my thinking, my ideas, who I was around, the speakers that I hired to coach and train me and train thousands of other people. One idea. I realized one idea, such as having courage. Your why has to be bigger than your why not. And the courage to act on a vision, as Carey has talked about, it does you no good to have vision if you don't do something to support and go after and create and manifest what it is you are thinking about, that you want, and that you have clearly defined goals. Like, we're going to talk about goal setting, and you're going to find out that goals are very much determined by your faith. You're going to find out the scientific manifestation of a goal. First of all, it has to be written down, and goals have to be specific. You don't ever have a goal of, I'd like to be happy. I would like to be have abundance. I'd like to be prosperous. I'd like to be whatever, creative, whatever. It has to be specific. What would determine, or how would you gauge that? Because if you don't, it's just like a moving target. It's got to be specific. And you're going to have to learn the importance of visualization. Carey is an expert on vision. Visualization is a choice for you, but seeing yourself like a movie's being played out. What role do you have, and how is this movie? How are you as a star of that movie? What is the storyline of that movie? So this is just, I actually look forward to goal setting, because the beginning of the year is such a critical time for you to learn to set your goals, to have a target, something to shoot for. And, it's important, too, that when I talk about getting your ask in gear, because you have not because you ask not, I think that's even in the Bible somewhere, but don't ask me exactly where, because I'm not Joyce Myers. But I say that what gets in our way is our butts get bigger. And by that I mean you will say, I would do this, but I could do that, but I thought about doing this, but your butts get bigger, and how to get the butt smaller and take action. So, Carey, I think that we're going to have fun. First of all, when you come to this meeting, you are going to have fun, but you're going to walk away transformed, a different person, if and when you're ready for this change. When you're ready to take control of your future, when you have clearly defined goals, when you understand what it takes, what practices you need to follow, when you learn to believe in yourself. Belief is so important, and we're so often not confident because we've turned our power over to other people to make us feel less worthy, and we don't even think we deserve. We don't feel like we have a right to be successful. So you're going to find out about setting definite, realistic goals for yourself. You're going to learn how to encourage an inherent success mechanism that you already have. You were born with. You were sitting here in this world with an assignment, folks. You were sitting here with a purpose, and I hate to shock you on this, but you really right now have all the necessary skills and talent to be successful. Just watch The Wizard of Oz on television. It was NBC and was live, and Queen Latifah, I love her, but the talent there. And I kept wanting them to say the line that I use in my presentations, is that God didn't put nothing in the Tin Man that wasn't already there. So you can kind of put your hand on your chest where your heart is and just say, I've got it right here. I just got to show it to other people. I've got to manifest it. I've got to believe it's there. I've got to utilize it. I've got to become all that God sent me here to become, because God is watching. Give him a good show. My friend Betsy Bombeck, Irma Bombeck's daughter, is just a dear friend, and she's got a little sign over her desk, and she said, Jesus is coming, act busy. So those of us that are believers, we do know this. But, I want to teach you how to discard negative failure thoughts, because you will not become successful if you live in the past of when it didn't work. And we've all had failure. Failure can be, my poverty growing up was a gift, and failure can be a gift because you actually, unfortunately, learn more from failure than you do successes. And it's almost sad that somebody's not teaching at this seminar that we're doing that is totally a failure, that never did anything. So you can learn, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go in this direction instead. But we all have had failure, and we all have learned from it. And if you don't stay in that failure mode, then you have learned. So it's who you are around. It's who you spend time with. You grow from the influence of the people. And I always was selective in my friendships, business, professional. I always took the high road and looked for people that were like I wanted to become. How do you hang around people like this? And when Carey was talking about personal development and spending 30 minutes a day, I'm going to ask you to read 10 pages a day. 10 pages a day. You could read 5 in the morning and 5 in the evening before you go to bed. And do you know that in a year's time, you will go through what is equivalent of, about 30 books in just a short time, every day reading something that's positive. I'm going to ask you when you're in your car to be listening to CDs. I want you, my car, two things have to be in my car before it will start, gasoline and a CD. Listening to Jim Rohn yesterday, Darren Hardy, Les Brown. I can't wait to get with my friends in my car when I'm going somewhere. They say that you spend hundreds and hundreds of hours in the car, and in 1 year, it's equivalent to getting 2 credits in college of the time that you spend in a classroom from what you spend in the car. Carey, do you have, I'm not sure, I can go for about 4 hours here, so I don't want to take too much of your time. Do you want to ask some questions or some things you want me to bring out? You're very familiar with the teachings, and so anything that you'd like for me to expound on. What we're doing right now, folks, is we're salting your oats. There's an old saying, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, but you can put salt in its oats. We want you to come to this meeting in January with an expectation of what you will get from this to take home, to build your business, first of all, to have balance in your life, to have a level of personal development that will help other people. The best way to learn is to teach, and we want you to be able to go out and share what you have learned. And the more you share this, and the more people see a transformation in you, in your attitude, your behavior, your accomplishment, your sense of humor, your attitude about your present and what you've learned from the past and where you're going in the future, and that you're totally committed in your own purpose, and you're enthusiastic. You have more of a sense of humor, which again is a choice. It's being able to laugh is internal jogging, and it helps reduce your blood pressure. It helps, well, I don't know if it does helps cholesterol, but I don't think it would hurt it. But anything you can do to start laughing, it makes you healthier. People are healthier. Norman Cousins wrote the book, The Anatomy of an Illness, and he said that he was in constant pain, but when he started to laugh, he realized he wasn't in as much pain. So I do teach with humor, and people retain more of that. So, Carey, questions that you might
Yes. I do have questions, Rita, and they come from some of the things that you helped me a lot with over the years, and all of the things that I know most entrepreneurs struggle with. And I'm going to say, honestly, that the biggest thing that I think most entrepreneurs, why they quit, Rita, is because the fear overwhelms them. And I think they think that one day they're going to wake up and the fear is going to go away for them to keep going. And what I've been saying to a lot of people is, I have found quite the opposite, that the higher up I go, the bigger the dreams get, the bigger the fear is. And I've just learned, like you have, and maybe even touch on this for a couple minutes, how you learn to manage fear and embrace it. How do you use it?
Well, first of all, fear is a constant, and people with very high intelligence have more fear than people that don't. They're very smart. That's one of the findings they just had. That it's kind of a breakthrough. But when I think about being fearful of going forward, Carey, I think about the fear of how I would feel if I didn't, or what my life would be like if I didn't. I really don't have any choice. I teach you to contact and be in touch with at least 10 people a day. Talking to people that maybe you grew up with family, with friends, with new friends, making relationships, developing relationships. But you're going to be approaching people that are going to say no to you. And are you any worse off if you did not approach them? Usually it just takes a few seconds for you to get a no, and then you move on. I flip the no around to on to backwards is on to the next person. But you're no worse off if they said no, because people aren't saying no to you necessarily. They're saying no to the idea, their insecurities. They're saying no to the that they don't know enough. But I think the fear keeps you on your game. It keeps you. you're conscious of your timing, and you can acknowledge this is part of life, that you're going to have rejection. So what? The only time that I was ever afraid of building my business, speaking, which is the number one fear in the world, the only time I would ever be afraid is if I gave up. That would scare me if I didn't have a reason to get up in the morning, something to look forward to. It's like Lou Holtz said, every day you got to have something to love, something to look forward to, something to believe in, and something to do, something to do every day. Well, the fear is just part of life. You're going to have that and use it as fuel. Fear can become fuel. What's going to happen if I don't do this? Oh, my God, am I going to have food on my table? My kids will be neglected. My kids won't have resources or choices or a roof over their head. So that fear and growing up in poverty, I know how bad it can get. So that fear was always good for me. I mean, if I don't do this, who is? Who can I look forward to? And one of the things, and I don't know if we have men, women who's going to be coming to our session, but one of the things that I really have always focused on as a former social worker and as someone that's been in education, both high school and junior college, and I've worked around a lot of women, and I especially love to teach this message to women. The fear I have if you're not independent, that you are relying on someone else to take care of you. I have 3 granddaughters, and the mantra that they're going to be learning, and both of my sons are excited about this, is the importance of being able to take care of yourself, to be independent, to have a livelihood, to have a way to earn a living, to be able to help other people, because to the extent, Carey, you help other people, you help yourself. So fear is not something that's ever going to go away, but
Right.
it is something to utilize. The fear of getting sick makes you more conscious to take care of yourself. So that fear isn't crippling. That fear is motivating. To use fear as a motivation, not as a blind spot that you won't go that way because of the fear.
Mm-hmm. You know, Rita, when I started as an entrepreneur 22 years ago, the fears were, you know, it's all perspective. You know, in the beginning, the fear is, oh my gosh, am I really going to make the $1,000 a month that I'm telling my husband I'm going to make so I can quit my job? That was my first goal. Now the fears are, oh my gosh, so much bigger because I'm on a bigger platform. So I think, you know, what you're saying is so right on, Rita, is that, you know, every time you come up over a fear and you push through it, there's going to be another one that's going to be bigger. But the good news is, like you just said, is you learn to recognize it and go, oh, okay, so I know what that is, and I'm not going to go there. I'm going to just push right through it.
Yeah.
You learn to just really embrace it.
Yeah. And being around people of a like consciousness, you know, people have said that to me, well, I don't get to hang around some of the people that you've been able to hang around with and learn from. And I said, yes, you can. I mean, you can. I mean, Carey, you have put such a great book together. Your workbook. I mean, I've read it now 2 or 3 times, and it's so easy. It's user friendly. But that's like spending time with you. Reading my book. It's anecdotal, gives you ideas and examples. But I realized that I could listen to Earl Nightingale, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the famous people that I listened to in my early 20s, that gave me a time to spend with them and listen to their examples. Jim Rohn and Darren Hardy, all these. I mean, don't tell me, and your mind is hungry to learn these things. So don't tell me you can't spend time with successful people. You can read their biographies. You can read about them and what they've done and listen to them. It's so dynamic. But change is the constant here, and you want to be moving with change in mind toward a more positive life and accomplishment. And you have to have the motivation. Your why has to be bigger than your why not. And when that gets in place, that you have a huge vision, why do you want this? What's it going to do for other people? How can you make this world a better place? You're in it for such a short time, and how can you do something that will change your world? And it'll come to you. You're going to learn about illuminations and aha moments and ideas and how to resonate those ideas. I interviewed Jose Silva of Silva Mind Control, and he was so complimentary. He said, you could teach Silva Mind Control because I learned early to mind your mind because energy follows thought. What you think about, you bring about. So how do you raise your thought consciousness and manifest greatness in your life? It's between your ears. Always is.
I heard you say many, many times from stage, or something very funny, is that you have to give yourself a mental enema.
Yeah. That's true. And then go over the commode and talk to it and describe what somebody said or did to you years ago, and then realize you're going to flush that commode and you're going to flush that idea. And when you have those negative failure thoughts of how somebody treated you, my gosh, I have a list. Then you say cancel. Dustin Hoffman, I interviewed Dustin Hoffman when I was doing television, and he had a list of 13 people that told him he wouldn't, he couldn't, he was scrawny, he had a big nose, he had pock marks on his face, he was never going to amount to anything. And he said, I carry this list around with me, Rita, because I don't want them to be right. I want to show them that they're not right in saying that to me, that I'm going to overcome that. And I'm not going to live with their perception of me. I have a bigger image of me, but that's only as a result of who you are around that raises you up. So, you know, those of you that come to this workshop, you're going to learn so much, not only from the presentations, but from your interaction and observing other people. One idea can make you a multimillionaire. And if that's how you judge your success, then you're right on. If you judge your success in another way, you can get success is living your life the way you choose. Life is a choice. It's going to be a choice for you to be at our seminar. It's going to be a choice for you to be networking with all of us. So life's a choice. And yes, mental enemas are important to get rid of the negative that's around us. Every time you turn on the TV, every time you're out and you see people's behavior, you're around negativity. And a lot of times you're around that so you can say, that's not the way I'm going to act. I'm never going to act like that.
Right. You know, so many things you're talking about, Rita, is just a matter of choice. Every minute, every day, every hour, every month, and it's just choices, right? Yeah. And I saw a quote that I sent to a very good friend of mine recently because what's happening in her business is just amazing stuff and scary stuff, and it's happening all really fast, but really exciting stuff. And I sent her this quote, it's okay to be scared. Being scared means you're about to do something really, really brave. And I think that's so true, is that, when I feel the fear now, I get excited because I think, okay, man, I must be onto something really good.
Yeah, exactly.
So, the another thing that I wanted you to touch on, Rita, is that, and this is the second biggest thing I think I hear from everybody I talk to, is just unbelievably overwhelmed with too much on their plate and having severe issues with being able to focus and to time manage.
Yeah, and I did write a book. St. Martin's was my publisher on time management. But I'm going to be honest with you, you can't manage your time. You just have to. You have 86,400 seconds every day. We all have the same amount. All you can manage are your activities. You look at your, I call it the 4 Ds in time management. I will get into more ideas on time management because it changed my life. It made me a more productive person. It made me realize what I needed to focus on. But you look at something you need to do, and the first D is, can you drop it? Do you really need to do that? I mean, if there's dust under your dining room table right now, so what? You got to figure out how to put food on your table right now, not worry about the dust under it. So, but are you looking at something that you can drop? It doesn't really have to be done. And if it can't be dropped, if it's something that's got to be done as you see it, can you delay it? Is there a better time to do it? Can you swing by and drop something off on your way to another location? So is it appropriate that you could delay what you've got to do, And then if you say, well, no, gosh, I got to get through this, then can you delegate it? When I hired someone to help me clean my house, I realized, Carey, that I could get one speech a year, and it would pay for me to have somebody to come in and clean my house once a week. And my mother-in-law, and I loved my mother-in-law. She helped me raise my kids, and I adored her. But my mother-in-law thought that was so lazy for me to have somebody to clean my house. So when I said to her, you know, I can speak 1 hour and pay for somebody to clean my house. And I said, it's not being lazy. The time I'm speaking, spending cleaning, scrubbing floors, toilets, changing sheets and all that, that's time that I could be talking to clients, I could be networking, I could be building my business. So it's not being lazy, it's being productive. So if you can't drop it, delay it, or delegate it. And delegation, if you don't delegate to someone and you have the resources and you can't have somebody, it's like going out and getting a watchdog and bringing it home and you do all the barking. It's the same thing. So if you can delegate and you don't, whether it's to family members, hey, can you drop this off? Can you do this for me? Or whether it's somebody that you hire, and sometimes you're not ready to hire someone, but if you will realize that you're more ready than you think sometime, but to drop, delay, or delegate to somebody else. If you go through those things with the list, and I go to bed the night before with the list of the most important things that I need to get done the next day. And if you can't drop, delay, or delegate, then do it. And usually do it now. And time is so precious. So the manifestation of time is a result of your goal setting, which is scientific, and how you approach this with the 86,400 seconds you have every day. Mm-hmm. I love the subject of time management. And I love to be honest with people. You don't really have a chance to manage the time, just your activities. And how do you look with a different perspective at the things that you're doing that's taking your time away from your long-term goals and your vision? Like, I used to laugh that when I built my networking business, you could eat off of my floors. There was ketchup, mashed potatoes, and pork and beans. Because I didn't have a chance to have it so scrubbed, and I could clean my oven when you could no longer get a cupcake slid in there, and it was time to clean it. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's when I realized that I wasn't going to be perfect, be a perfect mom, a perfect wife, a perfect networker. I had to utilize the help of other people. And how did I bring in staffing to delegate to? How did I choose to not focus on something that really wasn't that important to get me to my long-term destination? So yeah, that was it.
I'm so glad that you said that, Rita, because the final question and the point that I wanted you to really jump into is something that you do. Well, you do so many things really awesome, but this is your best thing.
Oh, good. I'm glad to know that.
Is so many people get so stuck in the perfectionism thing. Of thinking that they've got to have it all just perfectly figured out before they go out there and do it. It breaks my heart when I see people repeatedly every year, because I network a lot, as you know, and I run into the same people over and over and over every year, that I know the reason they aren't moving forward is because they don't feel like they've got it all perfect yet. And this is your biggest thing, your best thing, is that they don't see their own greatness. Yeah. They don't feel like they deserve it. They don't feel like they're ready for it. Who are they to achieve that level of success? And I know you and I both share this, that it's just heartbreaking when we see people do that.
True. Well, Carey, the cause of low self-esteem, first of all, is, see, people with high self-esteem will be at our conference. They'll be there because they know they deserve this. But people with low self-esteem often don't feel worthy of success for whatever reason. They're dragging the baggage of something bad that happened years ago, and they haven't gotten past that. But I tell people that your past is a canceled check. Your future is only a promissory note. The real legal tender is what you have right now. And I think trying to be perfect, I tell people, just be yourself. Be yourself at your very best. But be yourself, because you're going to mess up trying to be somebody else. And also, don't ever turn your power over to somebody that's more messed up than you. And we do that all the time. We will get into a business and we will tell somebody about it, and they'll make fun of us and they'll laugh because they've never been a success in anything like that. I mean, anybody that has succeeded in your chosen business is not going to make fun of your efforts or run you down for doing something like that because they get it. But we often listen to people that don't know what they're talking about, and all those thoughts go into our head. It's like my neighbor is Muhammad Ali, and I'm sure he doesn't brag about that like I do. Then I'm his neighbor, but I'm bragging. And I got to interview Muhammad Ali a couple times in my broadcasting career, and the message that resonated that he said, and you're talking about being perfect, he said, "I am the greatest." Well, he wasn't the greatest boxer when he first started. He was a poor black kid from the ghettos of Louisville, Kentucky, Carey, but over and over again he would say, "I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest." And I'm going to teach you at this workshop about the power of affirmations, and as Dr. Shad Helmstetter talks about, what you say when you talk to yourself. And it's amazing how empowering the verbalization of saying "I am" and using affirmations. An affirmation, the definition of an affirmation is a positive statement as if a goal has already been achieved. So people that are afraid because they're afraid that they're going to be a failure, so they're not even going to try, you are right. If you don't even try, I think it was Yoda said, "You have not because you try not," or whatever. I can't remember now, but you ask not. You have not because you ask not. I know it's in the Bible. But I can't tolerate that with much sympathy when you are such a wuss that you don't even try because you are afraid of failure. Well, then put a big failure mark on your forehead if you don't even try. I would rather try and fail than never to have tried.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way I can excuse you for doing that because the fact that you could do it, you have a shot. I have a dartboard in the pool table room that we have, and my little grandkids love to see Nana try to hit the goal, the center, the target, and they just giggle when I do hit it, and they'll just sigh when I don't. But they see me trying to hit
Mm-hmm.
the target, and so the people around you, they applaud your efforts. They applaud you because it's a practice. Life is a practice. Anytime you have an activity to get you towards your goal, I mean, nobody can just walk up and hit a hole. Well, maybe somebody could hit a hole in one, but unless they practice and practice and practice. And yet, do they just quit because they didn't get a hole in one the first time? You learn from that, and you go on to the next hole. My husband's an avid golfer. I asked a man sitting next to me on a plane carry. I was going to Dallas, and it was during the Phoenix Open, and I said, my husband's at the Phoenix Open. Did you get to go to the Open? He said, "Oh, I was out there a couple of days." And I said, "Well, he's an avid golfer. Are you an avid golfer?" And he said, "Well, ma'am, I'm Lee Trevino, so I guess I am." And he was so charming. I got to talk to him for 2 hours. Can you imagine what it's worth to get to talk to Lee Trevino for 2 hours? But see, coming to this session, you're going to get to talk to people that have capabilities, excellence, they have understanding, they have talent, and it's not so important where you are right now. It's where you're going to be, fueled with this kind of example and the affirmations and the information that you learn and the examples. And you're going to realize, how do you judge success? When do you realize that success has come to you, and how do you parlay that into helping other people and building a business? Because you're only going to get in life what you give away. And if you don't have a lot right now, you're not giving a lot, because you're going to get when you give. So get me wound up here, Carey. I'll go on an hour or something.
That was my plan.
I'm excited. I'm so excited because nothing
too.
feels better than to see people's lives transform from what they've learned. So I'm excited to be a part of this.
Well, the reason I went in that direction, Rita, is because what you just ended with is the thing that you did for me for so many years. is that whole reminder of greatness, and that, you know, you just can't live with regret. I kind of get choked up. So, you know, it's everything. And I think overall the biggest message you and I are conveying here is that if your vision is not big enough to get you through all of the things that you're going to have to get through to get to your dream life, you guys, we're going to challenge you to really ask yourself, it's not big enough. And the thing that I have that pulls me through a lot, and I've been through a lot, especially the past year, most of you know, is that the vision has never been about me. It is way bigger than me. And I know that what you do, Rita, has nothing to do with you. It's everything that your passion is wanting to help other people succeed too. And that is really the bottom line, you guys, is that you have to ask yourself, if I'm so easily quitting on my dream life and my dream business, then you're probably just making it about you. And what you need to do is attach it to something way bigger and outside yourself, because you won't quit if you have other people relying on you, right?
Right.
And it does come back down to that you, every year, every month, every week, every day, every hour, every minute, you have a choice to either choose to act in fear or to act in faith. And that's the truth. What it really, if you peeled this onion all the way back, it comes down to just that. And what you've been saying this whole time, Rita, about, you know, it really is between your ears. It's your choice, right?
It is.
So Rita, thank you so very much for just pouring into these people this morning and pouring back into me. I'm sitting over here going, okay, it's a good thing the webcam's not on, because I could just tear up right now.
Well, don't get me started, because you know my tear ducts are attached to my bladder anyway. So I get emotional when I see another person get it and learn to believe in themselves and realize their greatness, and just to know that they have so much that they haven't tapped into, because they lacked the courage. And how do you get the courage to move forward and to become all that you were destined to become? How do you live your life and not do that, knowing that you have so much? People say, how come you feel so good about yourself, Rita? Because you're not all that great. Well, you know what? That might be right. But the reason I feel good about myself is that I'm trying. I'm doing my very best with what I've got to work with, and I can't ever fault myself by saying, well, you know, you just stepped back and did nothing. Because how do you stay so passionate about what you do? And, you know, this is even in the Bible. You put your whole self into it. Most people don't have the courage to put their whole self into something, to make it happen, to jump in with such passion and determination and commitment and persistence. They just don't have that. You can learn that from being around people that do. You can learn that behavior by their example. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So
yeah,
excited.
Yeah. So we've mentioned it many, many times, you guys, that there are several things you can do right now. Easy things you can do even over the holidays. Number one is going back to what I said earlier, is you need to reevaluate this year. And you need to take a look at, okay, what worked and keep it, and what didn't work and get rid of it. It's really that simple. And to get very, very focused on where you intend to be, and I'm underlying and I'm bolding that word again, intending to be this time next year, because it is living your life with intention. I've just learned that every decision I make, and some days I have to stop myself about every hour and ask myself, what's the best thing I can do for the next 60 minutes that I have? It's a choice of what direction are you going to go, and get it down on paper. And you can get Rita's book, Funny Side Up, Making Time, Making Money. My book is out there, Vision is Victory. You can get it on Amazon, and it's a great little easy workbook, like Rita said. But the biggest thing of all that you've heard us say multiple times today is you've got to get around some other people that are going to start off this year big. And they're going to meet some other awesome people that are doing the same thing, make some great friendships, and lock arms and move on. And that is why I do a huge event every January called Vision is Victory, the event. It is in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I have to tell you all, I'm sitting in Scottsdale, Arizona, looking out my window right now. It is unbelievably beautiful here. So wherever you're at, and like I said earlier, I'm from Denver, Colorado, it is just the place to be. You want to be in January. Vision is Victory, the event. It's a 2-day event, and this is basically what it looks like. All day on Friday, I will walk you through getting your vision down on paper, and I mean on paper. You will have a workbook that you will have some time to write out your vision of what you see your year looking like in detail, because I know that most of us say we're going to do it on our own, and we don't. So the biggest reason I host this event is to make sure you do it. I also talk a little bit about, once you get the vision down, what might be really keeping you stuck and how to get rid of those stories. Remember I mentioned earlier that some of us have some stories that we're holding on to that we need to flush out. Like Rita said, you know, put it in the commode and talk to it and flush it down the toilet, get rid of it stuff, because it's not serving you. So you've got to get rid of whatever's keeping you really stuck. You also will get some baby step goals down on paper so that you literally will walk out of this event, you guys, with an action plan. On Saturday, Rita will be the keynote speaker. So she's going to do what she just did, you know, 10x. You are going to feel loved on, lifted up, like you can conquer the world like none other, and I promise she will make you feel that way because she's done it for me for years. And then I have 4 other breakout speakers in the afternoon that are going to be on different topics to help you with your business. And topics around how to make sure that your bookkeeping and taking care of your business is kept very simple, because you don't want to spend a lot of time on that. That'll be our breakout speaker, Angela Sticka-Snyder. And then we have Angela Cody Roger. So funny, I have 2 Angelas with hyphenated names this year. Angela Cody Roger is the founder of Major Mom. Major Mom is a company that teaches people how to professionally organize their lives. And just like learning how to manage the minutes in your day, you've got to have an organized space. And she's awesome at that. I have another speaker, Felicia Jones, who came up growing her business through Infinite Nation and is killing it. She is our master budgetologist. She is going to talk about how you learn to pay yourself and get out of debt, which are 2 huge things for entrepreneurs. And then Nikki Roush is a woman that I just met 2 months ago, heard her speak at a luncheon and invited her to be my 4th breakout speaker. Nikki is, she calls herself the sales maven, and she teaches entrepreneurs how to sell without being pushy. And this is a huge topic because most entrepreneurs never come into owning a business having any sales background, and it's a big stopping point for them to go out and sell themselves. So breakout speakers, vision down on paper. Friday night we will have the cherry on top of this whole thing, our party called Viva La Vision. Oh my gosh, this is the thing, you guys. If you don't come to this event, you're going to be kicking yourself later, because you're going to be seeing pictures of people not only networking and learning and collaborating, but Viva La Vision is the thing that people talk about for weeks and months afterward. We give out awards. I give out awards to the people who have had an amazing 2015. We have dancing. We have some prizes, some special little gifts that I give people that night. I mean, it is just too much fun. There is also the opportunity that you can upgrade and buy a VIP ticket, so you can come in a half day early. We're going to have a very special interactive training the afternoon of Thursday, the 14th, and we're going to be helping you. I've asked all of the speakers and my MCs, Angel and Eric, the experienced pros, are coming in from the radio show. They are coming in to talk to you about the fears that they've worked through and how they've learned to push through all of it to get to success. And then we're going to be doing some hands-on fear breakthrough kind of exercises, and these speakers are going to help you walk through it. So make sure that you take a look at upgrading to the VIP ticket, because you get that half day and a reception that will follow to meet all the speakers, including Rita Davenport. Just so many moving parts to this thing, you guys. It's truly going to be the place to be to get your big, hairy, audacious goals on paper. So we're going to be at the Scottsdale Marriott, McDowell Mountain, here in Arizona, and it's going to be January 14th through the 16th. What you want to do, and you see on your screen right now, is you want to go onto my website, infinitenation.com, go to Viv the event, or just the event, you can click either button, and buy your ticket. And here's why you want to do it today before 5 o'clock. We are throwing in the opportunity to win a one-night hotel suite at the hotel. And we're giving away 2 of those to 2 lucky winners, and the opportunity to have a 2-hour vision and strategy session with me. So if you know that you need to be there, like Rita said, you're committed, you're courageous, you're going to get yourself there because you are going to push through everything to get those goals met, make sure that you go and register today. There's several different ticket prices, you guys. We kept this thing so affordable, it's ridiculous. If you go there, you can see to buy 1 ticket. You can buy a ticket and bring a friend for $50, which is the better deal. If you are coming with a team of people, you can go in and buy the group ticket price, which is the screaming big deal of all. And we also have a student ticket. I am very passionate about having young people learn how to create their own vision because we need them to create a vision. We need their leadership now more than ever in this country, you guys. So if you have some young adults that you know, man, this would just be so great for them to be there. We've got a rockin' student ticket that they can take advantage of. The other reason you want to book this now, you guys, is if you're flying into Arizona, the flights right now are super affordable, but that is going to change very quickly as the holidays approach. And right now, the rooms are also very affordable. So make sure that you go on, take advantage of that. Don't wait. If you know that you are going to be there, click the button. We're going to be drawing for these prizes after 5 o'clock today, and the winners will be announced and notified. I also have an app, you guys. Go to the App Store, and you can find Infinite Nation, the mobile app. Download that now because we're going to be pushing out some little surprise things between here and now during the event, between here and the event. And we're going to be using the app during the event to push out some special notifications as well. And I really want to wrap this up. First of all, I'm going to open it up. Mary, do we have anybody that has some questions I need to answer?
Let me unmute here. So just repeating the dates for a couple people for Vision is Victory, the event in January.
Right. Yep. The dates are the 14th through the 16th. The 14th is VIP day. If you choose to upgrade into the VIP ticket, which we highly recommend because we're throwing in not just that half-day training that will start at 2 o'clock. So the half-day training for VIPs will go from 2 to 5 on that Thursday, the 14th, and then the reception will follow right after that. It'll be from 5 to 7. Then January 15th will be me doing the vision all day. And then Saturday will be Rita and my breakout speakers. So you want to make sure that you get that on your calendar. Any other questions?
There weren't any in the chat box here.
Okay, great. All right, you guys, I hope, beyond hope, that you have been lifted up, that you have been loved on today. I know that we are in a crazy time of year, and I was in front of a group of people on Thursday that I was coaching, and I reminded them, like I did to some of you at the beginning of this call, just keep breathing because this is a crazy time, and you can only do the best that you can do every day, like Rita said. So take some time for yourself. Take some time to really regroup and think about who you are and what you want to achieve. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to have it all perfect. As a matter of fact, I encourage you not to be perfect. One of my other mantras in life is that I strive for excellence and not perfection. You know, strive for being excellent for yourself and for the people that you care about. And above all, choose faith over fear every single minute. It will push you through a lot. I thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Rita, if you're still on, I can't thank you and love you enough.
Thank you.
You are amazing, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Carey.
Thank you all so very much. Mary, thank you for facilitating and for recording this, and we will post the recording so that you can listen to it again, you guys. Have a great day, everyone, and make sure that you go and register for the event.